This is my first time doing comedy in a punk show. Woo! Thank you. I have to say, I'm really pleasantly surprised. I think that you guys are really breaking the stereotype of punk culture with your sobriety. Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause. Are you guys sober, or is it just the building that is sober?
The building.
Okay, so you're all gonna go somewhere and do drugs after this. Okay, just making sure. Do y'all want me to go with you?
Yes.
No, I won't be doing that. Because, okay, so I don't do drugs because I am a pastor's wife. But yeah, woo, that's right. No, but when people find out that I'm a pastor's wife, it makes them want to do drugs with me even more. I get a lot of peer pressure, but I don't. I will warn you, if you hang out with me long enough, the odds are way higher that I am going to convert you than you're going to corrupt me. Just guess how many people I have brought to church and got baptized. You can just shout out numbers. 417. Cool. Y'all are so mature. Nobody said 69. That happens to me a lot at comedy shows. Okay, the real answer is 8. All right? But one was a Mormon, and that counts for 2. I am 1 away from 10, and when I get to 10, I think I will give myself a mani-pedi for being the hands and feet of Jesus. That's a Bible joke. I didn't expect you guys to get that. It's okay. So the kind of Christian I am is called Lutheran. Any Lutherans in the house? It's okay. You don't hear a lot about Lutherans these days. You don't, because we're Christians, but we know how to mind our own business. So this is what the main thing that defines the Lutheran Church is how cheap we are. You'll never see a Lutheran church with a water feature out front, okay? The Lutheran churches are the little buildings on the side of the road, and they have a sign in front that you put the letters on by hand, and it says, Jesus loves you, except that the E in Jesus is a backwards 3, because we're so cheap we won't even replace our letters. And so we're just out here telling the whole world, Jesus loves you. I've been a Lutheran my whole life. I grew up in the Lutheran church. And I had a pretty, chill, undramatic upbringing in church. I really appreciated. My church was run by this group of older church ladies. Now, we had a pastor, but everybody knew who was really in charge. These women, they had all had the same hairdo, and they wore the same shoes, and they carried the same bag, and they sat in the same place in church every Sunday, and if you got in their turf, they'd get kind of mad at you. And I realize now that I'm saying this, that it sounds like I'm talking about a gang, which it kind of was, but with really good chicken salad. So, there was one kind of controversial thing that happened in my church growing up. Our pastor, Pastor Bobby, he was kind of edgy, he had a goatee and an earring. And one year, he brought a black baby doll to be baby Jesus in the church nativity. That's what it sounded like in the church, actually, So one thing you need to know about these old ladies is that in addition to having all their own, way of dressing, they also had their own way of talking, okay? So I'll share a little bit with you guys now. And I grew up in Texas, so, if they thought you were a great big sinner, really bad, they'd say, well, bless your heart. And if they came up to you after church and they said, well, aren't you fancy? That meant that you were dressed like a whore. And so I heard them talking to each other one day after church, after this Christmas baby Jesus incident. And one of them said, well, did you see that baby doll that Pastor Bobby brought for the church nativity this year? And her friend said, I did see that. And I thought It was very realistic. Not that there is anything wrong with that. And her friend goes, no, there is nothing wrong with being realistic. You know, as a matter of fact, my granddaughter is dating somebody who's realistic. And her friend says, well, bless her heart. You know, I saw her at the grocery store the other day, and she looked so fancy. Are you guys paying attention? This is really serious. She just called the other woman's granddaughter a sinner and a whore, okay? She says, I'm just wondering if we're going to have a realistic baby Jesus every year from now on. And the friend says, well, I suppose that we will, because my granddaughter says once you go realistic, you never go back.